These coasters.
I guess so. I was just putting...
Just a decorative tabletop.
That was like an art, some sort of like Art Deco piece or something.
That's right. All that's good. It was 20 years ago today that Sergeant Pepper taught the band to play. And they've been going in and out of style, but they're guaranteed to raise a smile. So may I introduce to you the act you've known for all these years, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Group Chat. It's me, Robbie Goodwin. And I have with here today a great guest. You know him from the Irish Goodbye podcast. Is it the Irish Goodbye or just Irish Goodbye podcast?
It's just Irish Goodbye.
You drop the "the," it's cleaner.
Yeah.
Like Facebook.
Yeah, you're wasting too much time with the, you know?
Yeah, definitely. You've seen him on Last Call with Carson Daly.
Ooh, I'd be impressed if you did. That'd be great.
Oh, boy. Yeah, and other things. Sorry.
That's it.
That's it?
That's everything I've ever
just
done.
Carson Daly?
Yeah.
You can headline from Carson Daly.
Yeah.
Off just doing that.
Technically, I did stand up on late night television, just not the one that everybody watches, but it was great.
Yeah. Late night TV in general is kind of on its last call. So in that way, Carson Daly
he was ahead of his time.
He was ahead of his time.
Well, and that was a great experience because you got to fucking do a stand-up set in a comedy club
at the Ice House.
Yeah,
right?
which is also like an amazing comedy club. It's like a kill box. So
yeah.
I just did a regular 10-minute set. They're like, don't edit yourself, do what you want, and then we'll just cut out the best 3 minutes of it or whatever, which was so much more low pressure than, a late night set, hit your mark, 5 minutes, which,
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Felt very comfortable.
Did you have a good crowd? Because I have a friend who did Last Call, and he looks like he's just bombing on it. I felt bad. I mean, he was doing like a real intense, big over-the-top act out, and you just hear him going, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was probably like it wasn't sold out. It was probably half packed. But again, in that room, it's like the echo. It sounds great.
It is a great spot. I do like the ISS a lot. But that is hilarious that a late night set would not be sold out.
Right.
It's like a half full room.
Yeah. You never think about it. Yeah, you never see a Letterman with a light turnout,
Yeah. Jerry's like, oh, they didn't book it right this time.
Yeah,
at his first Tonight Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Also, I'm Mike Feeney. I don't think we ever got to that part.
Yeah.
Just in case, because your listeners.
Oh, I thought you were Carson Daly.
Yeah, your listeners were on the edge of every. Who is it? You've seen him, and now we're just gonna get into comedy.
When I first started my podcast, I would forget to introduce my guests, and
Sure.
I had a couple people be like, yeah, it was a good episode. I just did not know who those guys were.
Yeah.
You need to introduce. Because I always thought it was a weird radio thing when Marin would be like, we got the blank in the blank, we got fucking Obama here. It's like everyone knows Obama, but it's a good thing to do. People do
Of course, yeah. Some people, it depends if you're a podcast that titles it in the episode description or, in the episode thing, but whatever.
But, those old radio tricks, they work, and we will be bringing the Whack Pack in here after this.
Yeah, there is a full ensemble. We have more guests coming.
We might get, JP McDade is stuck in traffic. He decided to drive into Midtown, which is always.
And rush hour.
And rush hour, yeah.
And the rain. In rainy rush hour Midtown New York traffic. Probably one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Yeah,
but,
he's so tall. I like picturing him in a very small car.
Yes,
just
like a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, just bending down in traffic. But he should be joining us at some point. But we're getting started without him. Luckily, I have a few questions for Mike. Mike, you recently did a web series about food with Bobby Kelly.
Yes.
Bobby's he's a pretty big comic to get. Some would call him a big white whale.
That's fun. He's going to hear this.
What was the booking process like? Hey, Bobby, do you want to eat? I'm in.
I didn't. Is this a roast? This is great. I should have prepared. His Food Rules is what it was called, and you can check it out. It's on it's on MikeFeeneyComedy.com or my YouTube channel. But no, I've been making a ton of sketches and short videos since essentially I started comedy, even going back to college, and so I just have been making them. And it was one of those things where Bobby Kelly is one of the I've never seen him bomb. I mean, he just
so funny
murders, and I've opened up for him a number of times. He's
that
great.
Rules.
Yeah, and it'd be he's super awesome. So the way that happened was obviously I would have always loved to have him in a sketch or something that I was doing, But I never asked him because just kind of just like, you don't want to put. It feels like for him asking that would be a big ask and annoying, and he's got a kid and and a wife. So it seemed like that would be too much. But it was actually his idea. He came to me with saying like, I like what you do, and I want to make. We should make some stuff together. And then we just kind of brainstormed, and then I wrote one episode, and he wrote the next, and then we kind of passed them back and forth. And
that rules.
And then we just banged them out, and we filmed them both at the Cellar, which was awesome of them to let us do it. And I'm pretty happy with how they came out. There's more coming, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you thought about calling it, you know what, food?
Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah, that would be right on the money.
Get me in the mix. Me and Bobby Kelly, two equally respected comedians.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
I saw Bobby at the Cellar one. It was like one of those nights where it was like everyone. It was like Keith Robinson and Jessica Kirsten. It was like I think he followed Jessica.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how anyone could follow because she murdered. And then he goes up. Is like, oh my god, this is like his room. I can see why he's like.
Two things to that. Number one. I've heard both Bill Burr and Louis, among others, Soder and all that, all talk about how nobody wants to follow Jessica Kirsten because she's that goddamn funny of a powerhouse. But also to the Bobby thing, him and I did. He was headlining Gotham, and I was opening for him. And Seinfeld came in, and it was like one of the first shows that was sold out. Mm-hmm. And Seinfeld popped in, did 20, and I mean, as usual, came up to a standing ovation.
Oh my god,
murdered for 20 minutes. Went back up. I actually had to follow Seinfeld first, but I was talking.
You had to follow Seinfeld?
Yeah, and that was my first time at Gotham since I started comedy, so it was like my audition essentially, kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's a rough audition.
I thought it was gonna be, but the crowd was so elated that just happened. It was actually the best. It was the best that I had the entire year. And now I work at Gotham. But I went downstairs and told Bobby, Seinfeld just showed up. He's going to try and go on. Like he's probably going to come down and ask if you do time and stuff. And Bobby goes, yeah, I don't care. And I was like, well, isn't that crazy? Like, aren't you worried about following? He's like, no. And he fucking went up and murdered. It's just, he's never, he can rise to that. He just has so much. He's just a vet,
He's one of those dudes who's like so funny, but also like his comedy's very universal. Like everyone knows what he's talking about, and he presents it in a very, very funny way.
Yeah, he's so wonderfully self-deprecating, but just in that I mean, I love a comic with like anger and like anger issues, and he checks all of my boxes.
He goes, I love when those guys. It's like, I hate my life. Who can relate? It's the best. Lenny Marcus is kind of like that for me.
Yeah, but he's not even because it's that Lenny is I mean, an amazing writer as well, but I mean, like Bobby's kind of like I hate my life and fuck you if you love it. That kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Whoa,
hey, all right. Oh,
ladies
wow.
and gentlemen.
We got a surprise pop-in.
Yeah.
This is like when Chris Rock came into Stern.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Kelly. Yeah. Great.
So, Bobby, you're tall and skinny now.
Yeah, what the fuck's your problem?
Yeah, bad boy of comedy showing up 15 minutes later.
Yeah, big timing me.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, no problem at all.
I've just been worrying, and I'll probably worry for the rest of the podcast that my car is going to get towed because I don't know the rules.
Oh, man.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, the good news is you can't park anywhere near here during like rush hour until like 7 or so o'clock. So it's gone, but now you don't have to think about it.
Okay, it's just immediately towed.
Yeah,
as soon as you...
Yeah, you like bleep the car door locks, and then it's just out. You're out.
You just brake at the light, and they tow it.
Yeah.
I fell through a hole in the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such is life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I like that Skankfest bag, Mike.
It was the first string backpack I could grab.
That's so fun. Yeah. Well, Lewis wears his like all the time.
Well, sure.
Oh yeah, JP McDade's here, everybody.
Hello.
I should
Hey.
introduce.
Is my mic on?
0 for 2 on talking to the guest with the.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm learning how to do radio. 24 episodes in. Yeah, we both did Skankfest, Mike, and.
You were there too.
I was not this year.
You weren't there.
He heard Louis was coming.
Yeah.
And he pre-protested.
Yeah.
I got the jump. Well, I've been writing all this new material, so we can't really be seeing it.
Yeah.
So I'm a fucking tall, skinny guy, I guess.
It's a good movie.
What fuck? My first two initials are JP.
That'd be funny if your name was JPCK.
Yeah. CK McDade.
For my rebrand, that's what I'm going to do.
JPCK.
It's the saddest shirt I've ever seen. I don't know what's going on with it, but there's a sad emo guy on it.
It's
smoking a
anime.
cigarette.
It says whatever happens, happens.
By the way, joke on you. A hot girl poked me and said Cowboy Bebop, and then and she got. It was at an Italian restaurant. She saw that, poked me, and then she got seated, and then I was seated, and they sat me right next to her, and then she was like, you want to share food? You want to like get some entrees and share them? And then she's like, this is like a date. We're like, we're on a date right now.
Can I also just clarify? So you both were two single people going to eat alone.
Yeah.
And both of you asked for a table too, which I
No, we were at the bar.
Oh, at the bar.
Yeah,
okay. That makes a little more.
That would have been hilarious.
Picturing you in that shirt in an Italian restaurant is like you've gone full AJ Soprano.
yeah.
How about I hate my shun?
Yeah.
The best Sopranos, but yeah, I lived an incel's dream, like some hot girl liked my anime shirt.
But I've been wanting to talk about this podcast artwork.
Oh, that's me in front of the Bada Bing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I would have guessed like 25A in Long Island.
Yeah, where is the picture of the Bada Bing?
It's like off the highway in New Jersey.
No, but I mean like in this picture. You should have kept it in the picture.
Oh, right above me is.
You just like the picture of you with the chunky scarf.
It's cropped, yeah.
We got the money shot.
Yeah.
Well, I like. My friend said it looks like I'm it's the header for a newspaper article where I exposed a church or something like that.
Yeah, that's
like the man who took down Epstein.
This is an important work of journalism.
Yeah.
Outside whatever dairy barn you're in.
Yeah, I guess without the context of the Bada Bing, it just looks like I'm.
It's just you standing on the side of the
looking
highway
for
on a
hookers.
freshly rainy ground, and
yeah. Well, look, I met Vito that day, so who's laughing?
Yeah.
now?
Oh, really?
I did. He was selling printouts from like a printer, just like a printer of pictures of The Sopranos for him to sign, and he was selling those for like $30.
Glossy ones are $60.
Yeah, and it was just that. Anyway, yeah. So we did Skank.
Residuals don't cover. Tired.
I
What were you
also-
saying?
Yeah, are you okay, JP?
I also don't. I never got the attraction with autographs. Like if it's an athlete, I understand, but like and that's the only one I understand. But I don't want Selma Hayek's autograph.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
that's not the main
I
attraction.
think most of the people who are seeking autographs now are selling them. Like
Right, which is why a lot of baseball players won't sign things anymore.
I don't understand. Like Roger Clemens was asking for $38 for an autograph or something
my
like back
God.
in the 80s, which is incredible.
Wow.
But don't go crazy with the autograph.
I think it's because celebrities are more willing to autograph than to take a picture. Like if it's like a quick thing.
Sure.
Like
They're
Tarantino.
image conscious, yeah.
Apparently Tarantino will not take pictures, but he'll autograph whatever.
Well, I have
He just doesn't like
Tarantino. I
standing
would
next
take.
to women.
Yeah. I also would. I would say that I have Grandpa Al Lewis from the Munsters autograph.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
a solid.
And that's
That's great.
that's
Collector's
written on a legal pad, and it was signed. And
From his divorce hearing.
he was drinking at the Blarney Stone in New York City when you could still smoke cigars in there. Giant cigar,
Wow.
long ass, like yellow fingernails. I don't know why I was there. I was just a child, but my mom and dad thought that was a good place to get lunch. And
Hairline in a perfect V.
Yeah, exactly. I did kind of. They used to say Eddie Munster because my sideburns.
Okay. I have 3 autographs. I have a ball of Don Mattingly, Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera. That's
I
all
got
you
Mo.
need.
I have
You
Mo
got
too,
Mo?
and
Yeah.
Nolan Ryan.
I met him awkwardly at like a some fan photo op thing, and I was extremely uncomfortable. But
Is he tall?
he's like 6'2", 6'1".
That's it's taller than I
that is
thought.
tall.
Massive presence.
Yeah.
Enormous.
Of course.
Some guys can really they use their height. Like I'm 6'1", I feel like I'm not using it. You know?
I'm 6'7". He's effectively taller than me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
no question.
Yeah, one time I stood next to Joe Rogan at the Comedy Store, and I was like, "You're taller than me." Like he looks like a boulder.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
as tall
very
as I
short.
say I am.
Wow, that's interesting. So you're like a short gay guy. I just listened to him with Bernie, and it was so. First of all, it was funny to hear Bernie quiet and like he had like a soothing voice.
Bernie in his podcast posture, like shoulders fully Larry Kinged up
Yeah.
above his
Well,
ears.
it felt like he was almost doing like ASMR. He's like, "Look, here's the thing. We have to get rid of the billiness."
That's an important point.
Yeah.
He always does the loose hand gestures.
We got it. Climate change got him a little bit riled up. You know, the Bernie we know and love. Like, everything's coming to an end. But
He's an idiot. That's how he says.
oh shit, sorry.
And Robbie spills coffee on cue.
That's
Right on
whenever
idiot.
you can't do Bernie without spilling some liquid somewhere.
Yeah, that's committing to the bit.
Oh, sorry. Can we get
That
napkins?
was a good podcast episode.
Which
The one with Bernie.
Oh yeah, I liked how Joe just like got out of the way. He just was
Yeah.
like, "Let me just like keep this."
I didn't
going.
watch it. I saw some highlights of it, but there were some times that Joe was like, Bernie would say something, and Joe would be like, "Okay, but how do you do that?" And he was just like, "Well, we have to have the dialogue." Like he just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
essentially
yeah.
is like, "I have no idea." It's like, this
Yeah.
is he's talking utopia like in a perfect world, we would all do this, that, and this. And they're like,
Yeah.
"But how again?" And they're like, "Well, we haven't gotten there yet."
Well, he's really just trying to cut to the chase and get to the aliens part.
Yeah.
Real
You could tell that he was like biting his tongue the whole time. He's like, all right, one more question. I just have one more question. But yeah, that did disappoint me when Bernie was like, look, I don't have the magic answers.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, but you want to be the president. Like, the president should at least have some.
My favorite presidential candidates are the one who are like, oh, I have the answers, but
Marianne.
I'm not telling anybody until I get elected because then you're just going to steal my idea. And you're like, what?
Total grade school move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a girlfriend, but I can't show her to you.
Yeah.
That's Marianne, dude. Just like the crystals will fix it. You know,
Right.
that'll fix the debt. Is the crystals.
Spot the lie. Prove they won't.
Dude,
You can't.
You see, there's a petition going around for Joe Rogan to moderate a debate, and Andrew Yang said he thinks it'll be a good idea.
Elon Musk.
It
goes
has
down.
like
rules.
90,000 signatures or something crazy on it.
Yeah. I mean, look, dude, fuck institutions, man. What have they got? I mean, if you watch these debates, I don't actually want Rogan to moderate a debate. I think that'd be kind of a shit show.
Yeah.
Especially like Twitter would be a nightmare. That just an absolute nightmare. But if you watch these debates, they suck. It's just horrible.
I've watched like a cumulative 2 minutes of all.
Yeah,
of
I'm not
these
a
so far.
politics
I watched.
guy.
Yeah. I watched like a couple full ones, and it's just like
I've had enough made-up anecdotes for the rest of my life, probably.
Yeah.
I was in Kansas
Oh my
and I
God.
met a family.
That's
a single
all of
mother
them.
with no eyes.
Yeah.
Under
After
an
being
overpass.
shot after getting a Purple Heart.
Mike, you won Best Micro Short at the Houston Film Festival.
Houston Comedy Film Festival. Yeah.
That's cool. I won Best Micro Shorts at the beach a few weeks ago and was arrested for indecent exposure.
Hey, this is a roast podcast, by the way. He's been zinging. He's been zinging since I got here.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
Mike Feeney. See,
Yeah, you can't see right now, but Robbie has his hands in his pockets and he's going onto his toes and
Yeah.
after punchlines.
He's wearing full denim.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, this is something. JP. JP, your bio says you weave characters and impressions into your set to keep the audience guessing.
Uh-oh.
Now, is your stand-up a murder mystery?
God damn it! I've been fucking haunted by this bio lately. I haven't updated it in like 2 years, and I did some local radio today, and they brought up this name. They're like, "So you wrote on this this web series, Sports Balls, a couple years." It's like
I have a question about
I think
that.
100 people watched 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that's what you do. That's like the first
I was
line.
one of them. I watched.
Sports
Nice.
balls.
I've seen Sports Balls.
Is that named after that stupid phrase everyone does?
Yeah,
when they
because
like,
people will be like, "Oh, you like
sports
ball?"
balls
Yeah.
with the. I hate that. I hate that joke is still going too. Have we not exhausted this?
I thought it was a Spaceballs thing.
That could work too.
Yeah.
I don't see how it would, but sure.
Well, I just mean Spaceballs, Sports Balls are very close words.
They're
It
funny
is.
They both
things,
start with
comedies.
SP.
That's
Yeah.
a good point. And
Yeah.
if the
Scott
listeners
Van
want to
Pelt.
write in about
And end in S. I mean, it's actually, they're closer to that word than they're not, you know?
this is a really good point. You've given me a lot to chew on.
Think about it.
I will. JP, you're in a Funny or Die sketch making fun of Trump. Did you feel guilty after being rude to the president of the United States?
I didn't respect the office that day.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I
He's
think that
doing
was
a
before
good
he
job.
got. That was before he got elected.
Oh yeah.
I just remember. I completely forgot about that. But yeah, that was like when he first announced his candidacy. I think.
I remember
And it
like
was still a joke.
yeah, I was thinking back to like my chat with one of my friends like 2015, like when he was the first debate, and we were
Yeah.
all like, dude, Trump fucking owned Jeb. That was like just like how much more fun it was
Right.
when he first ran or whatever.
Yep. Now we're all fucked.
Yeah, it's no good.
It's not good.
You guys think he'll get reelected? I don't
No,
mean to make it.
in
I
a
don't know why it's so
landslide.
political.
In a landslide,
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately.
Hard to say. He definitely loses the popular vote again.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
I was
But
hearing
does
that
it matter because of the election?
he might lose it by even worse this time, but still
Yeah.
he has like a hefty like margin in like the
There's
mid
just
states.
no, you can't, the problem is you can't, they're just going with quantity, not quality for the Democratic Party. So
Well, let's just keep saying that he's going to win because we did the opposite last
Yeah.
time, where it was a near certainty that he
Right.
was going to
Yeah.
lose. Then we all got shit on.
It's
But
very
everybody else believes that he's not going to get reelected. Where you're like, this is what's happened. This is how it
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, I mean, remember right before the election, there was a New York magazine, and the cover was like a big black and white photo of Trump's face with like "loser" across the eyes. I was like, can we not
Yeah.
throw huge jinxes out there like this?
Yeah. I love just Colbert like being like, "You're not gonna be president." There's like a little clip of him just yelling at a picture of Trump yelling that, and
Yeah.
it's like, what the fuck?
All
Don't-
those things we all got owned.
Yeah.
like Seth Meyers at the White House Correspondents' Dinner saying that he ran as a joke.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. I mean, I thought he was
Fucking
going to lose.
brutal.
Everyone did. Like, fucking, yeah. There was so much confidence going in. But see, this is, it convinced me to just rely on my Catholic brain of just expect the worst. And if it's.
Sin
But
is
can you
everywhere.
imagine, though, had Hillary gotten elected, like, what would be happening right now with the Epstein thing, with her ties
probably,
to it? Like,
probably
it would.
play out exactly the same.
The conspiracy theories would be at it would be even higher if you're like the Clintons were, you know what I mean? It's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like I actually don't think that Epstein would have gone down if if Hillary was president. I mean, because Trump made a really boneheaded move of like hiring.
I just wish my boy was still here, man.
Yeah, dude. We
Some
need to talk
boy
about
Epstein.
Yeah,
I can't believe
Is
we
this
lost.
your
Should've
forum
saved
to
him.
publicly endorse that
This
you're
is our
supportive of him?
Epstein RIP podcast.
Yeah, but yeah, we need to
Just
talk
say
about
goodbye to
mental
our
health,
friend.
guys. If you have a friend suffering, I have a Logic song. I will send you.
Yeah.
Cyberbullying is not cool.
No, it's not cool, man. I mean, people were very rude to him. I will say this Epstein guy's a bit of a weirdo.
Not a great guy from all accounts that I've heard, you know?
You guys just never got invited to his parties.
It's true.
Yeah.
I've just never been on a private jet, so I'm salty.
It changes everything.
That was crazy when I was at a bachelor party the morning he died, and I text everyone, Epstein dead. And now my friend is like, we talked about Epstein like all day throughout the party. So now my friend's wedding is like, in his memory, will be like, forever. It's Jeffrey Epstein's like going to be a part of that.
I had it happen to me when Michael Jackson died.
Yeah.
I was at a concert, but it was not a Michael Jackson. I think
It's a Michael Jackson.
Yeah. I think it was like a Central Park, like 311 and Ziggy Marley and the Wailers. Like everyone's stoned and like, dude, Michael Jackson's there. I'm like, what?
The cargo shorts convention of the Northeast.
Yeah.
This is in tribute to Michael Jackson, and they play the Alien Ant Farm cover of
Yeah,
Smooth Criminal.
Not a bad cover.
Yeah, that was a good song. I listened to that song.
That was a tight song.
I kind of look like that
We all
guy,
must admit.
unfortunately.
We all kind of wanted to make fun of that just now, like immediately, but then we all realized, oh, it's kind
Yeah.
of a sick song.
What
yeah.
I will make fun of him for is he really tried to get the hairstyle to catch on. He had his own unique hairstyle, which was a shaved head, like a crew cut, but then he shaved two
What
finger
was that?
length down the middle and all the way straight back. It was just bald strip.
Wait,
going
was he
down
trying to do like a Larry Johnson extended down the middle?
almost like a
complete
reverse, almost like a reverse Chuck Liddell? There was no hair in the middle and then hair on
see.
this everywhere else. But then he, in the music video, has like multiple parts where he like puts his fingers down the scalp and like
That's it.
rolls his eyes in the back of his head like he's coming. It's such
Yeah.
a bizarre.
He was really hoping that move would catch on.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
would be his Sufi.
Yeah, exactly.
Alien Ant Farm's Twitter was hacked like 3 years ago, and no one's bothered to change it back. Someone just like, hold on, I'll pull it up. This is good podcast. But whoops.
I'm kind of interested in Alien
No,
Ant
I guess
Farm's tour dates.
they had to
I would
delete
follow.
it, and it looks like they had to delete the account, but forever, because now they only have 500 followers. I don't even know if it's official, but it used to just be a picture of Ice Cube and just like all caps weird messages, and it was the official Alien Ant Farm account for like 3 years. No one bothered to delete it or get back.
I mean,
the
what
info.
what's going on? Are they even touring?
But I like
mean,
checking in with those bands and like even comedians who were big like 15, 20 years ago just to see what level they're at now. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
they got a pretty good like casinos and colleges thing going. They're probably pulling in six figures.
Yeah.
It gives me hope.
Who's
for
a
the
comic
future.
that was
for
big
you.
15 years ago that like
future. Who isn't now?
yeah, who's like fell
Carlos
off?
Mencia.
Mencia.
Carlos Mencia's still got a pretty solid club schedule.
Yeah.
He's like all over.
He's
yeah,
like
he
skinny
still
now.
sells a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
And probably a ton of merch.
The crowd goes wild.
Remember
He
when
sells
he said he
t-shirts that-
never saw Bill Cosby's himself?
Oh yeah,
And then but then did the
incredible.
exact
same
bit.
bit.
He's like, yeah, I just got into comedy like a year ago.
Mencia won that war, by the way.
He
Came out on top.
Yeah, he's actually that's crazy. He's the less piece of shit.
It was like a football
He's
game.
less
He's
that
more
makes
beloved in the eyes of the public than Cosby. At
Yeah,
this point.
it's like a football game that ends 6-3.
Yeah.
That's what he won.
They're like both people failed.
Yeah.
Carlos Mencia sells merch now that just says "being retarded" with a red line through it. Like,
Is that
crossed
real?
out. No, but I'm imagining.
I could see that. You could really get away with making fun of the retarded up until like 3 years ago.
yeah,
Matt
and,
TV.
and then like 2 years from now.
And
yeah.
then it's
You know, it's
pendulum swinging back.
well, you know what's weird too that I've noticed. It seems to be the only group of people we can all still make fun of. Like any race, color, creed can all Asians. For some reason, they're the last ones that people can make fun of, and it not be like. you see like a couple white guys making fun of a black guy, people are like, hey, whoa, 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 and then you know what I mean? Or like if someone's making fun of a woman, it's like, you piece of shit. But like if it's an Asian person, people are like, yeah, they're fucking crazy, man.
Because
like,
they're winning.
Yeah.
That's
well,
why.
that's the thing. Here's the thing. They're the majority.
Yeah.
So really, we're punching up.
I actually have a theory about this. It's because I just started realizing it, and I think it's because they're winning in every respect except for movies. There's still not a lot of movies starring Asian guys.
And comedy.
So the minute Crazy Rich Asians hit, everyone's like, all right,
Talk
unlock
about
the floodgates.
You can roast Asians so much. They made a movie called Crazy Rich Asians.
Crazy Rich
They're
Asians.
calling them crazy to
Yeah.
their faces. But so rude. I watched
Yeah.
that movie a couple times, actually.
How was it?
It's a fun flick.
Are
It's
they crazy
insane.
and rich as advertised?
The film, I don't want to spoil anything. But
Crazier and richer.
Crazier.
That's actually the sequel. Chris Rock wrote it.
So you got
And then
crazy
it's-
Asians,
and then
and
the
then
third
you
one
got rich
Yeah,
Asians.
yeah.
the third one is kill the Chinese guy.
yeah.
Oh no, please.
See, I didn't even feel uncomfortable with you doing that, though I know I should have.
Yeah.
That was. I was parodying Chris Rock special titles. You can't cancel me for that.
Yeah, I was just looking
Do
for.
not cancel me.
I've been as soon as you said Asian, I was
Fairfield
like,
Comedy Club this Friday.
yeah. Oh yeah, JP, you got a big gig you want to plug, right?
Oh, it's a huge gig.
What's the gig, baby?
Fairfield Comedy Club? I just said it.
I'll be there
Fairfield,
next month.
Connecticut. You are?
Or
a
maybe at
fun
the end
room.
of this month. I don't know. I'm there eventually.
Yeah, I'm there this
Nice.
Friday at 9. Get 20% off tickets with the promo code McDade, MCDADE.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm there the 30th. That's crazy. That's
Sick,
fun.
man. It's a fun room. Have you been there before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's every time I walk in there, I go, this is gonna be a nightmare. And then every single time, it's super fun.
It's always fun.
So wait, what is it? Is it like a club or like a back room or
It's
something?
in a
like that?
hotel.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
the banquet room or whatever of a hotel, and it's like
I mean, it's essentially like the lobby
Pretty
that
much,
that
yeah.
they cart off and make. Again, it never looks like it doesn't look like a conducive room for comedy, but
You
people,
would
it's
think.
BYOB, and the crowds are
Yeah.
always hot there.
40 to 60 middle-aged white people from Connecticut who are just sipping Woodbridge and having the time of their
Oh,
life.
Yeah.
beautiful.
Drinking and driving.
Do you guys adjust your act for
No
like
snitching.
that kind of crowd or anything like that, or is it?
I don't know, man, because I sometimes can't get a good read on an audience, like expecting what they're gonna like. Because I was just in Yonkers doing the casino up there, and I was like, oh, they're kind of old. I better tread lightly. And then I started doing sex stuff, and they were like, yes, give us more. Like
Old
the
people
dirtiest stuff I
love
have.
dirty shit because they've fucking done it all.
Yeah.
They've already done it and lived it. It's young people that you have to be that are like weird about
Yeah.
sex now. It's fucking bizarre.
Old people are like, I invented eating ass.
yeah. It's a crazy. We're in a crazy time with that kind of stuff, man. I don't know.
We're
I
in a
don't,
crazy rich Asians. I've said it before. We really are.
That's the name of Rogan's next special.
We're all signed on for the Crazy Rich Asians sequel.
yeah.
Crazy rich white people.
Yeah.
A race swapped crazy rich Asians.
Lady Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Asian.
Yeah, they're doing a new Ghostbusters, and they're like, back to guys.
Yeah.
We tried it.
I've lost track of why I was mad in the first place.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
change the movie.
Yeah. I guess Jason Reitman's doing the new the new Ghostbusters, right? He's
Oh, yeah.
Ivan Reitman's son or whatever.
Roast battle attendee.
Oh yeah, he like did a fucking he did like a huge documentary about LA
Did he?
roast
I
battle.
saw
yeah.
him there once or twice at the LA room.
Yeah. No, he's a big comedy fan.
He was there when Chappelle dropped in. When I'd just done the last battle of the night, and then like Chappelle just like
Oh, you were
appeared
there?
on stage. Yeah.
Oh,
in
wow.
the belly room.
I remember that was a huge night.
there were
Yeah.
like 20 people.
What's
there.
crazy about Chappelle doing that too is like he doesn't even announce that he's in the city. Like he just will like fly in from Ohio, wherever the
Yeah.
fuck, and then just like walk in. Like imagine having that
He
thing.
appears like Gandalf, like just
Yeah.
out of nothing.
Can you imagine though, just having that power to be like, I don't even need to tell people I'm coming.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even need to tell people I'm going to be in the city.
I'm just going to Montana, right? They'll figure it out when
yeah,
I get there.
yeah. You get into Montana, or you have somebody. Yeah, and also it's like if they wouldn't let him on, he could just go to any venue
The
in
parking lot.
America and be like, tweet something, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Well,
You
what's-
just smell cigarette smoke and he appears.
Yeah.
Well, what's amazing is actually Donnell Rawlings summons him, and then he
Yeah.
appears in a puff of
He
smoke.
blows
Donnell
some
Rawlings,
ashes.
fucking- Talk about another person that murders on a level that
Yeah.
I've
is
heard that. I've never
unbelievable.
seen him.
He's significantly better at comedy than I ever gave him credit for in my head. But he's great.
Yeah.
Funny.
He really does. He goes by like Ashy Larry still sometimes when he's like on the road and stuff. Which is,
yeah.
I mean, I
Bust
guess
out
if
the
you're a
character at
classic
the end.
character, if I was a Conehead, I'd still be. I'd still be like Robbie Goodwin parentheses Conehead.
Yeah. You gotta let them know how people know you. You know.
How's this for a character? Conehead O'Brien.
That seems like that should have been pitched in the writers' room by at least once by now.
That might have hit in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There's a real limited sweet spot for that to work.
Yeah, just like my Jackass 9/11 bit. That would have been great in 2003.
I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is hijacking a plane.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so we're here at Ground Zero.
Yeah, we're flying a plane into Phil's bedroom.
Yeah. Oh man, have you guys seen Bam recently?
He just
Have
got
you been
arrested.
I mean, he's been arrested. He's been put in like mandatory rehab. Then he just was like doing social media pleas for Dr. Phil to
I
save
heard him
his
on
life.
Cumtown, and I think that was the last public appearance he's made.
Well, that was
Wow.
the next day. He went to West
yeah.
West Side Comedy Club and punched his manager in the face.
Oh.
Yeah, and he signed a kid's skateboard.
Crazy.
The yin and the yang.
You knew
of
they
Bam.
replaced him with for the Late Show? Brendan Sagalow.
He was supposed to do Brendan Sagalow's podcast. That's the only reason Brendan was there. Was because he was supposed to do Brendan's Brendan, he's like a hero to Brendan. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
and then he just was like, "So are we doing the podcast?" He was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Why aren't there any people here?" And then just started punching. And then they were like, "You gotta go." And he was like, and then they were like, "Do you still want to do the podcast?" And Sagalow was like, "I'm good."
And then
I'm
Brendan
good."
went on stage, and then Amy Schumer bumped him.
Yeah.
I hope Sagalow's entire career is just getting owned by celebrities.
Yeah, I mean that one's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, George Clooney gave me a wedgie.
The
that
Wally
was like-
Pipp of comedy.
Do you know what's crazy? Is that was like 2.5 years ago at this point too. Which
Yeah,
is
that happened.
nuts.
That flew
The
by.
Schumer thing?
Yeah,
Oh fuck, yeah, huh?
It was
I guess it
long
was before
ago.
I moved here. That's crazy.
yeah, it was a while.
I was actually just reading this Bam article. Yeah, so the bust comes on the heels of Bam telling Dr. Phil he would go to rehab.
And then he did, and he got Dr. Phil tattooed
He
on
got
his neck.
on his neck next to
To show that his mental health had improved.
Yeah.
He got a neck tattoo.
So his tattoo is Doctor in lowercase, Phil with 2 underscores, and then the him logo right next to Dr. Phil.
He's like, oh man, I realized I had more room for another him logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing more badass than Dr. Phil is him or Turbo Negro.
He's a crazy
Ooh,
man.
I hope
dude.
that's a band.
Yeah, Turbo,
Yeah.
Turbo Negro would
that out
always.
there.
Yeah, okay, this wasn't racist like the
Ronnie had
Chinese
the
voice.
most racist nickname for Usain Bolt I've ever heard.
Yeah.
He said it on the
I'm still talking about Donnell Rawlings. I have another character, Louis C.K.Y.
That's fun. That's great.
Thank you.
Comedy complete.
My podcast is holding people hostage.
yeah.
It's been compared to a hostage situation.
I like the new studio. Oh, this is cool.
Oh yeah, it's cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to go to the World Trade Center anymore, which is nice. Did you guys see this guy Cuomo? Some guy.
King.
Speaking of Italian guys, or speaking of races, you can still make fun of Italians, except in this case, Chris Cuomo. He's this guy on CNN, right? He's an anchor, and there's video of him. Some guy, I guess, called him Fredo, and he was like, "You can't fucking call us Fredo. That's our N-word."
I love because I've watched this tape a couple of times, and it's like he's clearly just like mean. He's like got beer muscles
Yeah.
up, like in some
Beer
Hamptons,
muscles.
like outdoor barn,
Yeah.
like this. What's it called? The Surf Lodge or something. And clearly he just got into it with a guy, like
Yeah.
and got pissed off over nothing, and then halfway through realized he needed to justify his anger with some
Yeah.
kind of righteous thing.
Right,
So it's
right,
like, yeah, you called me the N-word, pal. And it's like,
Which is a Godfather reference.
Yeah.
That's the best part. Is it's just like a movie reference.
Calling. Is he his brother? Is he
he's like
Cuomo's?
the lesser brother. So
yeah.
like
So
Andrew
I mean,
Cuomo's
but
his
that's
brother.
like such a fucking perfect. Like that's such a hurtful like slam
Yeah.
to really be like. It hits on every level.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it gets the Italian thing. It gets
a great
your,
roast joke.
It gets your fucking nothing. You know what I mean? Like you also like betray your family. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That
Yeah.
you should be killed. Yeah. It works on every level.
And it's so specific to him, but he's like, that all Italians hate this.
I respect Cuomo for staying pissed throughout. He did not blink.
Am I the only guy who watched that video and was like, this guy's kind of in the right? Like
I was Team Cuomo for a second. There. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that was pretty dumb of you to say. It was like the
Yeah, once you say let's go outside, then it's no good. You know what I really wanted? I really wanted that video to end with him getting tackled by the bagel boss. You
Yeah.
know, just like getting.
I just love those like tough guy bar fight empty threats that get increasingly
Yeah,
severe.
right.
I was in college one time, like two guys were just going at each other and they clearly weren't going to fight, and one guy was like, "I will end you. I will end you," like they're Vikings or something.
Yeah, yeah. Like the drama when you're drunk, and also how much like ability you think you have when you're drunk is like
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, their beer muscles are like a real thing, but like I don't know.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Like wanting to fight, like
No,
having
but
confidence
also-
in yourself.
Oh,
There
okay,
is,
I see.
yeah. There also, but there is a thing to like. It's the same thing with like it's that adrenaline of like how a mother could lift up a car when her baby's underneath
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? Like where it's like these, you kind of. I mean, I'm sure they never talk about the next day of the mother's back is probably a fucking disaster.
Yeah,
but
she's
you know,
got
what I mean?
7 torn
She's
ligaments,
ripped,
but
yeah.
she did it.
But it's also you know someone's serious by what they say in terms of how specific they get. Like that,
Right.
like I will end you as a general,
Yeah,
vague,
right.
open threat that
Sure.
means nothing. I was at Ozfest when I was a kid, and it was
Hell
like
yes.
in between bands, and like there's a thing that happens at Ozfest where like in between people throw like empty water bottles around and shit like that, and everybody's throwing them, and I was always tall, so it's like I'm constantly in the crossfire.
Right.
So I don't know, one I think probably hit my back or something, and I picked it up and I threw it, and it hit like I don't know 9 people in front of me, and the cap pinged off this bald dude, like pinged right off the back of his head. And I went, oh shit! And my buddy and I ducked down in the crowd because it was, it was an ocean of people.
Right.
And we stay down there for a couple seconds, and I go, okay, I think we're good. And we stand up, and this dude, I mean, is bulldozing his way through the crowd, and I stand perfectly still because I go, his head was behind.
won't see me.
There's no way. Well, no, it's just like we're an ocean of white people where you go, how is he gonna know it was me?
Who
Right.
hit you? It was the guy with the wallet chain.
Right, yeah, exactly. Which I think I
The
had.
guy with the Mountain Dew.
Right. And I go, this guy's never going to know it was me. He had his back to me. No one could see me. And I blended with it. And if I don't go like, and pretend to run, that would be the obvious sign
Yeah,
that he knows it's me.
Right.
But he somehow knew it was me and bulldozed right through everybody and grabbed me by my shirt. And he was taller and larger than me. And his threat, a little more specific, was I will take your fucking skull.
Oh.
And that's when I was like, I'm sorry, sir. Like, you know, and that's when you go, okay, that's real because that's
Yeah.
a specific.
Yeah.
That
That's
would
like
be
a
great
mo-
if you were like, how?
Yeah. We didn't
What's
get
your
into
plan?
specifics, but
Are we going into surgery or what's
yeah.
happening?
No, I think
here?
it was a rip clean off your shoulders kind of a situation, and then
yeah,
wait for your cheeks and everything to kind of fall off.
I will fracture your collarbone with a precise elbow strike.
Yeah.
Get even more specific.
me. I'll weekly try to fight and then remember I can't fight.
Yeah.
And then
I will
apologize.
call my parents.
Yeah. Can someone pick me up?
But most fights you see are terrible. They're
Horrible.
4
They
seconds.
don't look
they're
good.
4 seconds long. It's always like one person who for sure does not. Both people usually don't want to be in the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys ever been in a fight? Either guys?
I haven't been in a physical outside of things in the. I used to get like mosh pits. People would get too angry,
Oh,
and then it's
God.
that kind of a
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah.
in terms of a square up fight, I think the last one I was in 3rd grade, maybe,
Yeah.
or in high school. Actually, some kid and I had a little dust up, but
Be something like that. I got punched in the head like 6 years ago or something like that on New Year's Eve.
Oh my God.
I did because I was drunk and I saw like this guy yelling at his girlfriend, and I guess I just stopped and looked for too long, and he like locked eyes with me.
Yeah.
But I was like just drunk enough where I would stay there, but not so like I couldn't make a decision. I should have just run or fought as hard as I could, but I did neither. I just kind of stood there. I was like, "That's not how you speak to a lady." And he punched me in the head, and then
Oh,
his
hell
friends
yes.
grabbed him, and I was like, "Well, I think I won this."
And then you yelled, "I'm a feminist, everybody."
we should have done that thing where
Reward
you
me.
go, where every guy who's getting his ass kicked does the walk away, like, what? And then they turn back and you're like, oh,
You're scared.
Yeah,
Please don't walk back.
yeah.
I just lay down like Nick Swartzen in Reno 911, like I was murdered.
yeah.
Oh fuck, Reno 911. That was another great aughts show.
Incredible.
I watched some of Miami. And I was
Underrated.
laughing so hard.
So underrated. I love even when Comedy Central puts the little highlights, like the throwbacks up on their Instagram, because they're just so funny.
I didn't know it was improvised until recently.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it?
super. Yeah, they didn't have it was like Curb kind of where they had
That
like
makes
a
sense because
general
the same
idea.
people from like the state and stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
I
all
think
those
there's
guys.
some
Yeah.
overlap there.
I didn't know that was improvised. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see the Nick Swartzen parts and everything being like improvised, but some of them are just they hit so
Yeah.
well.
And that it also had like the whole cast of like that class of comedians all at their like absolute funniest. Like Patton Oswalt on a bunch, like Nick Swartzen, like all when they were like
That's why it's such a crime that there's like so many good sketch comics, and then there's like maybe 2 shows for sketch.
Yeah,
comics.
it's just SNL really. What else
But then
is
there was like Key and Peele for a while, but that was mainly
Yeah.
just 2 guys, and now there's like Black Lady Sketch Show. There's what else? There's a couple other like I'm drawing a blank here.
Yeah.
But there's
I
not
think
many.
YouTube is the new like where you put sketches, right? I guess
Yeah.
you don't really need like TV sketch anymore.
Yeah, but it sucks when you don't have the production value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what the
Mad TV, I think we can all agree, criminally underrated.
and-
criminally.
And Key and Peele though was like, Mad TV also did have a incredible amount of. While the show was less superior than SNL, it still had like some great characters that where
100%.
Mrs. Swan and whatever
Stewart and-
Stewart. I was just gonna say whoever, and then
Yeah.
even like one of my
the
favorite.
sexually harassing black guy.
I think my favorite sketch, one of my favorite sketches of all time on Mad TV was they did a fake TV trailer for The Sopranos going on
Yes.
PAX
Yes.
or PBS
That is a great
on PBS.
sketch. Yeah.
And so it's just like, it's edited. So
It's
Will
Sasso, right?
Sasso's
Yeah.
incredible as Tony Soprano, and he's like, you were a rat, and then like it
Yeah.
cuts to him like eating breakfast the next morning, and then he goes to punch somebody, and then they just show like a cut, and he's just like bleeding, and then they're like, get him out of here, and then it's just so
The
funny.
Sopranos is brought to you by viewers like you.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
we got Big Bird over here. You ever see James Gandolfini
WLIW.
on Sesame Street?
Was he really on?
Yeah,
it?
he was on Sesame Street. And he's like, so what's your fucking deal? He doesn't swear, but he's like, well, I show you like a puppet. He's like,
So you live in the trash?
yeah.
Fucking
It's a
crazy.
great
Is that
pic-
everything?
There's
I'm
a-
in sanitation. You
There's
live
a
in
great
fucking
scene where like a barber's coming up with him like a lollipop, and he just looks pissed. He's like, I don't want this lollipop. Polly and Bacala were also on Bert and Ernie.
Oh yeah.
right.
So there's a weird Sopranos Sesame Street like overlap for a few years. I
Yeah,
love the
Sesame
Sopranos.
Street is in North Jersey.
Is that true?
That's where the actual street is.
Imagine
Crime-infested
being
neighborhood.
is it Steve Van Zandt? What's
Yeah.
Steven Van
yeah,
Zandt,
imagine
yeah.
just-
Steven?
and be like I play arenas all around the world in one of the most popular rock bands ever, and
Yeah.
and also being like, and then I'm also on one of the arguably the best drama of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like funny in
yeah.
it too.
Yeah. 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 That's how that was my thing with when I learned Max Weinberg. Isn't he also? What is he?
He was
Formerly
Conan's drummer, but he was
Conan's
also
drummer.
he was also
In the E
Bruce's-
Street Band? He
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
is Bruce's drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He quit Conan to do Bruce.
Yeah.
It's tough. You have to
Career
choose.
mistake.
Yeah, you could be on TBS, buddy. But what? Yeah, what's Bruce doing? He's like, hey, go out on auditions. Like all these people.
Yeah,
I think they might have had some rift.
Yeah.
Max and Conan.
You think so?
That might have been, I remember hearing something about that years
or
ago.
maybe it's just when they went to TBS, they couldn't afford to
Keep
get
on
out
Max.
from that
Yeah.
NBC
That
money.
sucks. They're so the
didn't
character
have
they
E Street
created
money.
for Max Weinberg was so funny.
the
Yeah.
no-cell deadpan guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and just like he's a huge pervert.
Oh, yeah. Him and La Bamba.
Yeah, like they just cut to them like going to a porn store or something like
Yeah,
that.
the band was way more involved.
Yeah,
Pender.
Well, they just don't have time anymore. That's the problem.
It's true.
yeah. I think Conan's probably a little checked out too.
Please have me on.
Yeah,
Have me on the show.
This podcast
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah.
I'd rather do his podcast.
Conan.
Seriously.
Oh yeah, Conan's podcast is
Incredible.
Is awesome.
I like how they're like surprised that they have so many listeners. It's like, yeah, kind of took off immediately.
You're a celebrity, Conan, and you have
Yeah.
your
Yep.
equally famous.
We're getting
friends.
1 million downloads. It's like, well,
Yeah.
that's also because 100,000 people probably watch Conan now on television. You know what I mean? So you're like,
Yeah,
imagine you're getting 10 times the amount of views
On your
on an
podcast?
audio medium than the thing you've built your entire career doing.
that is. I didn't think about that, but that his podcast is a bigger audience than his fucking
Significantly
TV
bigger.
show.
Probably, yeah.
And it would do, as a comedian, it would do way more for our careers doing his podcast than doing the show ever would. The show, doing any late night set, is just this fucking dumb pipe dream that
It's
we
like
have.
it's like the brass ring that we want to grab. Like
Yeah,
the
it's
bigger
a-
thing for
it's
your
a
career would be
vanity
a
thing
podcast.
completely.
it's a brass
It's
ring.
a credential, but it's like
It doesn't even help people. I know so many that
Not gonna
still.
build your audience
I
as
know
much.
so many people who have done late night shows who still have full day jobs.
Oh,
where
yeah.
you go like it does. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. Do you not have a day job, Mike? Are you able to do comedy full time?
I am officially comedy full time.
Hell yeah. Is that from your podcast like success or like?
Yeah, it's from the massive success of Irish Goodbye Podcast, available now on iTunes.
It's just Louis, Louis J. Gomez is just like Venmoing you every day.
yeah. No, man, it's a weird. It's been 1,000 things. It's been.
Thank you,
there we go.
JP.
this is bothering me.
Yeah, me
It was
too.
bothering me the whole time as well.
It's been
For the listeners, I'm talking about the coffee stain, not Mike's podcast.
Yeah. just not me
Thank
talking.
You. Thanks, JP.
And it's just one of those things where it everything kind of lined up where the podcast is making a little chunk of change, and my road schedule has been great. So
and the two probably like beget. I don't know if that's the right word, but like they help each other probably. Like you have like people who liked you on the road, listen to your podcast.
Yeah,
like,
that's the only
road.
thing I'll ever promote when somebody's like, unless somebody's just like I'll do a lot of these rooms where after the show people come up and be very complimentary and stuff. But a lot of them, it's like Connecticut and Long Island. There tends to be like a middle-aged audience a lot of times. So you go like, oh,
Can
man,
I have your business card?
Yeah, you'll be like, hey, do you listen to podcasts? And they're like, to what? And you're like, never mind, forget it.
Is that like an internet TV show?
Yeah. But it's like I used to push people to my Instagram and Twitter and stuff, which is fine. But like all of those are fleeting and things that will eventually go away. And a podcast is like it's forever.
My
radio.
Twitter is forever. I'm getting all my tweets engraved.
Even when Twitter goes down out of business.
Hence the engraving.
Yeah,
it's costing me every dime I've ever made.
Yeah.
All of JP's tweets are added to the National Library.
Yeah.
Buddy, I gotta tell you, I went all in on Vine, pal. I pushed all my chips to the center of the table, and it was the most successful platform I had. And
you got to be a TikTok boy now. Come on, get on TikTok.
I should have had. I
think you're making too much money for TikTok.
It's also funny because TikTok is a thing that's so incredibly wildly popular, and I'm pretty sure I think they have more users than Instagram now. But
because it's Chinese, right? They have like users.
Yeah, well,
is that what it is?
But
Is it a Chinese thing?
The app's been
Chinese
around
company.
for like 7 years. It used to be that Musical.ly app, and who's using it now are children.
Yeah,
it's the kids you instead of doing Snapchat, they do that, and that's like. That's the thing that we're all like on this. We're on Instagram and Twitter. It's like, there's no young people on those at all. It's all already on TikTok, and then we're all gonna try and join it way too late. And then by the time we get any following, the next thing will be out.
I'm gonna be big on TikTok in 2025.
All right,
After the world is completely
over. I love a decade
over.
plan, including current social media things.
Yeah.
It'll be there.
I put all of my chips in on Ello.
Yeah, I was gonna say technically MySpace is still available.
I'm just a chat roulette comedian right now.
Yeah.
I'm getting into the TikTok space.
Yeah,
every fucking chat roulette joke that came out at that time when those were
that was
popular,
a huge comedy.
Every single one just ends with, and then there's a guy's penis, and you're like, I don't want to see that.
I love when everyone scrambles to the same take. Like at the open mics and stuff like that, it's just like, all right, time to. Whenever there's a big news story, it's like, all right, time to go see the same joke 20 times.
And then the press will be like, here's how comedians are shaping the culture with their comedy. And you go to an open mic, and it's 11 of the same person doing the exact same joke about gluten.
It's so funny that we're in a time when comedy's never been more elevated by like the press or social media, and never been like probably worse. I mean, in terms of just like unoriginality and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, the ones that are great now are fucking, we have some of the best all-time comedians out right now, but it's also, I mean, again, I think that's anything though, it's the bottom, that bottom percentile really drags the bell curve, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is, I do see a lot of great comics, and like even ones who are like really successful or doing solid, but the ones who seem to be like really being promoted by the comedy industry, I'm like, what is the deal?
Those are the people that have social media followings.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where it's kind of, but that's where you look at that and you go like, well, these are the reason why a lot of these networks are dying off, is because you're like, you're choosing to do this because they're safe, built-in audience, diverse, like groups, like, and I mean, I guess maybe they tried funny first for a long time and we're getting left in the dust or whatever it is.
That's probably,
But
they don't know how to handle it. They're like, all right, we're going to take you with your audience and like make you do like shitty, like, I don't know. It's like the same shit that we've been doing forever.
That's what some comedy, like a lot of comedy clubs do, and you can't blame any of them because it's a business first. Where you're like, if you can get somebody who's a murderer who doesn't sell tickets, or somebody who's god awful who sells tickets, you're going to pick that every single time, and you don't blame them. But it makes you respect the clubs that do that.
They all have to have some kind of blend of the two,
right?
Yeah, my buddy was actually a funny comic, but he said Caroline's booked him to headline sight unseen because he had 50,000 Instagram followers.
Well, sure.
They were just like, all right, yeah, you're headlining if you have over 50,000 followers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, time to buy followers.
Yeah.
Russia, if you're listening. What do you guys have like a? Do you guys have like a worst you've ever like hell gig, worst bomb kind of story, anything like that?
No shortage of those.
There's a few
How much time you got?
I feel like you guys have have some good ones.
I remember my second time I ever hosted a show. I was probably like 2 years into comedy, maybe even less. And I went up to a club that's now closed that was in New Haven that was run by bikers.
Joker's Wild?
Yeah. Wasn't going to, copyright and everything, but I think we're in the clear. What I heard was that it was owned by like a biker gang, and when we were doing the show, the owner was in jail, so things were kind of in disarray.
Hell yes.
So I got there. We got there late. I go up, and I have to host, and I go up there, and I suck. But I go up there, and I get this big weird intro, and I'm like, "How you guys doing tonight?" Expecting applause, and I just hear one guy go, "We don't have a waitress." So they were just like sitting there for half an hour with no drinks, and they already were pissed.
So it's just like an AA meeting.
I bombed horrendously for like 10 straight minutes, and then I forgot the name of the first comic.
Oh!
Mwah.
Oh, I love when that happens.
The triple crown.
Fun.
Yeah.
Do you
That
remember
the
who it
early
was?
one. Dustin Chafin.
Oh,
no,
man!
he's like
So you're banned from a few places.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's hilarious. That's fucking great.
And then there was a girl on that show who was like being bothered by this guy. There's a theme to this podcast where I'm just like, hey, is this guy bothering you? But she was being bothered by some guy who was like following her around. I was like, did you tell security? And she's like, that guy is security.
Oh my
guy
god.
was
Oh,
bothering her.
no.
Was like worked there.
Comedy club security is just like, it can really fluctuate between like bar staff, like
Usually
good
nothing.
security, or like just open.
Usually nothing, and then
Zero.
or it's just anybody over 285 pounds. As those are the two options you get usually.
In LA at the Comedy Store, there was this like horrible open micer who like the door guy position's like a big position, like it's like the gateway to whatever. So he was just hanging out one day, and Cat Williams got in a fist fight, and this open micer,
As
like,
Cat Williams does.
yeah, has he classic
Respect.
Cat, you know, and this kid just like jumped on Cat and broke up the fight, and they gave him a door guy position like at that moment. Like
That
that's all it
rules.
takes. Yeah.
But you should have taken Cat's side in the fight if you're a real comic.
I mean, I always
would've.
do. When he like hijacked those kids or whatever he did, I took his side.
Is this really your child beating my ass
I'm
right
gonna
now?
give this kid meth.
Tallahassee.
This your little boy.
Tallahassee.
Then he got his ass kicked by like a 16-year-old.
He
Yeah.
got beat up by a
Well,
Are
kid.
you really fighting me right now?
My
What is you doing?
My cousins went to his legendary Meltdown gig in Oakland, which is, if you haven't YouTubed Cat Williams Oakland, it's amazing. I mean, but Cat Williams is amazing. He's an amazing
One of the
comic.
greatest comics of all time.
That
for
newest
sure.
special, all that local stuff, I was fucking.
I loved
that was
that
crazy good.
Yeah.
It's like 20 minutes of that. It feels
Jacksonville
like,
for 20.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Got its own son. Don't follow no son laws.
The highways. It's just like everyone's like, yeah. Well, just amazing to observe a guy killing that hard. That's all.
Yeah.
If it was just like, you know, even if like you saw Brian Regan doing local stuff, I'd be like, eh. But because it's Cat Williams, he's so physical and so.
I was gonna say, I think it has a lot to do with how much he's sweating, so you could see.
Yeah.
him, and you can see his energy in it.
Yeah,
you know?
it's less watching good comedy, just like this is an amazing spectacle.
Yeah.
You know.
He goes from 0 to Patrick Ewing in overtime in like 5 minutes.
the foul at the free
dredge.
throw line. Yeah. I
Wristbands.
I have two of them come right to my mind. One was probably like one of the worst gigs I ever. I was at the Village Lantern, which I guess is now the Lantern or some shit.
I
like
think it's
that.
just the Lantern.
But
Much
anyway,
like Facebook, they
this is
dropped
when I
the
first
Village.
started.
I think a better room now.
It
I could be
is.
wrong, but yeah.
I think it's like a legit club now.
I mean, it had its moments or whatever, but we were.
But it had that cheetah print stage.
yeah.
Wait, when
for
it was
a
like in the
while.
basement.
Yeah, back in the
downstairs.
day.
It was just like it was so confined, and it was just like a comic hang, and there was so many of us like coming up, just doing a ton of spots there, and there was I was so new. I was probably like a year or two in or something, and I'm at this bar show. The show before went long, so it ends, it starts 45 minutes after these people that have been tricked into coming down to see, people, open micers try their best. And so this one dude who, I mean, the only person I could compare him to was like Terry Crews. Like that's what just like a giant black man
Tank,
with muscles on muscles.
Just like a fake looking man.
And like, and so the host goes on, and who is this? I don't even think he does comedy anymore, but
Craig
he was just
Fox?
no, it was way before him. But he was like this comic Steve.
Martin?
No,
He did hang it up.
Yeah. But he lived. I think he moved back to Boston or something. But he goes on stage, and his first joke at the beginning of the show is just about a joke about how Benjamin Franklin owned slaves. Like there wasn't I don't even think he got to the punchline. I think he just kind of said it as a fact and then was getting to whatever the joke was probably going to be. And the giant Terry Crews man was, in stereotypical fashion, eating a giant plate of chicken wings and just started screaming at the host. And he was just like, nice. He was like, smarten up. And he was like, what? And so he took a rocks glass that had a candle in it, like a lit candle, and threw it at the host. And it missed the host's face by a quarter of an inch. Like it breezed his ear.
He threw a fireball at him.
Yeah, and it exploded.
Luigi over here.
It exploded on the brick wall behind Steve, and like hot candle wax went shooting all over into the audience, into people's hair, and Steve on stage in the village center downstairs, you couldn't see the first row because the lights were so bright.
Yeah.
So like he just like felt something whiz, and then like everybody, so he didn't know. So he's like frozen. Where he goes, what was that? People start picking out, wax out of their hair. Then he goes to the plate of chicken wings, and the guy starts throwing chicken wings one by one at this kid Steve, who is like a accountant-looking guy with glasses,
not equipped to handle this.
Who just keeps picking up his leg, being like, "Hey, sir, please, hey, sir." Like, and it took. It felt like an hour, but it took 10 minutes for a bigger security guard to come and get this guy out. They're screaming at this guy, and while this is happening, it probably takes 10 minutes to remove this guy. Steve is on stage in absolute silence, just being like waiting. And then like audience being like, "You got to go, man. You got to go. People, pay your tab. You got to get out." And the whole crowd is just watching it. And he's still screaming at him, and he's like, I'm sorry, everybody, I'm sorry. The guy leaves. Steve is almost cowering, like not cowering, but like shaking, where he thought that the guy was going to come and fucking kiss his ass.
State of shock.
Yeah, and he's like like almost like voice cracking, almost crying kind of a thing. And he just goes, this is right after the guy leaves the room. He's just dead silent, holding the mic in the mic stand. Again, this is how many jokes he's done so far. He introduced the Benjamin Franklin thing. That's it. That's been the whole show. And he just goes,
didn't smarten up.
Yeah, did not smarten up. And his first words back, he just goes, I'm so sorry, everybody. I don't know. Your first comedian, Mike Feeney, and then just walked off stage.
Yes.
Did nothing. Didn't like talk about it. Did nothing. So then I had to go on and be like, well, that was crazy, and then try to. That was just a crowd work set where people are like, "Are you okay?" Just checking in with people, and it was just one of those things where I couldn't have possibly been brought up to a worse situation.
Yeah. It's great when your worst gig was only the second worst set of the night, though. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
Someone else had a worse spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that actually it wasn't like it was a decent set. It was just like a hell thing. But
for sure. No, that's horrifying to honestly even witness.
And this is a much quicker story. I'll make this fast.
No, please.
I was at Ha Comedy Club, which is now defunct, but it was a place I used to.
Where was that?
Times Square, essentially, like right off of it.
There it is. When I was visiting New York in like 2009, I had done like 2 comedy gigs in like forever. We were underage, and we got barked into somewhere. And
they had 3
They served
rooms.
us underage.
Aziz used to bark there.
No way.
That's like where he started. Yeah. But so it was 3 separate rooms, and so I got called on stage. I was so new in that club. They were like, "You're doing 7 minutes," and I go, "Great." And the host brings me on stage, and then the host leaves, and I say the first joke, whatever the first joke was. It's like a 30-second joke, and it gets absolutely nothing. And then it was a late show too, and this one guy just goes, "Next, thank you," and just starts clapping me off.
The silver bullet of heckles.
And he not only was he was the perfect heckler, because then when I was like, "Oh, what do you do?" Like I tried to go at him, so I was like, I started talking to him. Anytime I engaged with him, he didn't say one word. He just sat there quietly, and then I would try to go back, and I'm talking drenched shirt, sweating level.
Wow.
And then here's the kicker. Bombing from the first 30 seconds, the crowd loves that guy.
Right.
They hate me.
Yes.
And the host was flirting with some comic, left me on stage for 20 minutes.
No!
Instead of 7 or 8 or whatever it was supposed to be, single digits, I do 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
So now I'm like, I got to a point where I'm like, listen, I don't want to be here either, but the host isn't here, so I got to stay on stage. So I don't know what the fuck this is. And I'm doing all those things about being like, I'm going to kill myself after this. This is the last time I ever do stand-up, blah, blah, blah. All these like kind of saves.
The tricks, yeah.
And they're kind of like laughing at being like, yeah, you are bad. And then the host comes back on 20 minutes later, lights me, and I go, all right, guys, I get to finally fucking leave. I'm getting out of here. And they give me a standing ovation in classic fuck you fashion. The host puts the next comic on. The host sees me in the hallway. I'm dripping sweat. I'm ready to fight this host for leaving me up there to die for so long. And he just goes, holy shit, man, you fucking got a standing ovation. You crushed. I was like, you fucking you didn't even see what happened, man. You didn't even notice that they were not clapping in approval. It was they were clapping because I was leaving. I mean, he thought I crushed. That's how fucking out of the loop this guy was.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
That's amazing.
That was worst bomb. Was wring out a shirt sweat.
That's like Carrie, like that movie Carrie.
Yeah, that was hazing. That was you getting
terrible.
Jumped into doing comedy.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
That's like there's the times like that where it's the room and it's like you're just fucked. There's nothing you can really do.
Nothing.
But then there are other times where it's like, oh, it's me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
That's my real quick, and then we'll wrap up. At the West Side Comedy Theater I used to host, and I was pretty new in or whatever, or newish in, like 4 or 5 or 3. Anyway, I was not very good. I was kind of learning how to host, and I said, "Oh, you guys are smiling a lot, but not laughing. You guys are like a British crowd." And there was this like very handsome guy in the front, and he goes, "Yeah, they're funnier in Britain." Like he had a British accent. Crowd laughs uproariously. And then I'm like, who is that guy? And someone's like, oh, yeah, he's like a famous, like, or a good character actor. And then we Wikipedia'd him. He's in all this TV shows. So, like, an actual, like, industry person was watching me and made fun of me and, like, had more charisma than me. Oh. That sucks when I just related that because it sucks when the audience is on the side of the heckler.
Yeah.
All right. I think we can wrap that up. Any plugs, gang?
I would say go to MikeFeeneyComedy.com and at I am Mike Feeney on social media. And also check out my podcast, Irish Goodbye Podcast, a storytelling podcast on Gas Digital and wherever you download podcasts.
Sick. Follow me on Twitter at JP_McDade. That's MCDADE. You'll see everything through there. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Oh, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. All right. See you next week.